Hello, good morning. Gary Champion, Psychic Medium. I want to run something past you. I was, hopefully, you can benefit. I was talking to a guy the other day, and I've known him for years. I used to see him at psychic fairs, and he would come by and get a reading, and now he calls on the phone. And as we're talking, he has a list. He's a guy with a list of questions. He has a whole list, and you have to go through them and answer them. And we get to the end, there's about a minute left, and I said, "You're contentious." He said, "What does that mean?" Well, you argue about a lot of things. Whatever. You see a lot of um, conspiracies. You see a lot of things, or you think you see conspiracies. And he said, I wouldn't know where I did that. I said, "That's all you do. You call me with contentious things," and he knows a lot of people. So, I mean, people avoid him. He's a great guy. He always has really interesting questions and ideas, but it's all conspiracy based. He's um, someone's tapping his phone, someone's looking in his window, someone's stealing stuff out of his house. Um, I said, "Try not to be so contentious." He said, "I'm going to work on that." I didn't realize that I was doing that. Yeah, everything's questioned. You don't have an open mind. Your mind is closed. You see things that aggravate you, and you think someone's doing it to you. And the truth is that you've created this vortex of crap, and you're not enjoying your life because you see things that aren't there. Anyway, as you see the world, so shall you become. Sounds biblical, but it isn't. As you see the world, so you will become. And I noticed, I don't know, a couple of years ago that watching news, I don't have, I just have Wi-Fi, and I do have, the major networks. I don't watch any of them because they have these news breaks and news things that, first of all, I can't do anything about it. If there's a fire somewhere or a war somewhere or someone did this or someone did that, and the internet is just full of it, one after another. How we're suing this person, or this person's guilty of that. We're going to take him to court, and he's drugged your whole family in there, and it's contentious. Everything is contentious. Everything is punishment and crime, what they did and how we're going to punish them for it. So even though I have those channels, I don't watch them. Why? Because somebody did something to someone, and now it's a big deal. And a lot of it's just hype from celebrities, and they create drama because they want their name on the internet. So and so did a topless selfie in the bathroom. We need to see that. I mean, haven't we seen you naked enough? But, anyway, we get addicted to it. We get addicted to danger, heartache, dissension, people angry at each other. That's why reality shows have become popular, and the truth is most of them aren't real. They give them lines to read, and they do it, and no one could be stupid enough to say some of the things that they say. So a day of that, see, I'm busy. I'm writing. I'm doing readings. So at the end of the day, I'm pretty much relaxed. I can just go sit with my wife and and Peanut the Wonder Dog and watch television or talk, which we do a lot of. And I don't have all this stress and angst in my day. And well, what about this? What about that? We don't talk about that. Why? Again, number one, you can't do anything about it. And even if you could, number two, would you want to get involved? No, we don't. We want to observe it. And if you were actually involved in it, in this argument with someone, you would solve it in some way. It would resolve itself in some way. But just watching it, and it's created drama, it ratchets you up. Your blood pressure goes up. Your brain ticks around. Oh, I'm angry about that. You don't know these people, and yet you're angry and willing to say something and post comments that are just dumb. You see it. How dare that woman do that? How dare that man do that? And voice your opinion, which nobody really wants to hear. You think you're powerful because you can type something, which is where the haters come in. Haters are just people that have had bad lives, or they become contentious by watching so much crap that that's all their life is. So, as you see the world, that's kind of what you're becoming. I see the world as a spiritual place to do the best I can. Haters, yeah, everybody's got those. If you're on the internet, you've got them. I have very few. But if they post something on my channel, I can delete them and never let them come back. So that's the power of the click. They come on to hate somebody who has a problem and states it, and then they start to beat up on them. I just don't allow it, because I've given myself the power to make a level playing field, where if you have a problem, you state it on the YouTube channel, and 5 or 6 of the girls will come on or guys will come on and try and help you with it. That's the nature of giving and loving and having an open mind. If you get a story from someone anyway, you're only seeing half of it. Maybe half of it, maybe a third of it. So you can't really make a decision based on what someone's telling you or what the dialogue is anywhere. They're giving you their side of the story, which may not be the side of the story. Until you get all sides, it sort of balances out and say, okay, well, I see where both of them are coming from. I don't want to get involved in that. That's the safest thing to do. When you start commenting on someone else's problems, you become part of the problem. You're taking sides on an argument that, number one, you can't do anything about, and number two, if you could, would you want to get involved? No, you're just, it's anonymous. You have a fake name. Nobody knows who you really are. Of course, you can be tracked. There's people who can find you for your IP address. But it doesn't do you any good. It creates more hate, more dissension, more dislike, more confusion in your brain, which doesn't ever resolve. In real life, those people probably do resolve things and move on. And in your life, you don't, because you don't know what's going on. You don't see that part of it. You just see the contentious part of it. So you become contentious. If everyone was sort of doing what I'm doing, then this wouldn't come up. I'm open to everything, but I don't have set beliefs on anything. I'm not attached to an idea of something. So if you're open to everything, you're not saying no. And the universe doesn't supply much to people who say no a lot. If you're trying to manifest something or work with someone, you say no all the time, you don't go anywhere. No shuts the door to spiritual connection. And I get it all the time. No, I don't know who that is. No, I don't know. No, And then someone sitting there will say, well, it's your aunt so and so, blah blah blah, and this actually happened, and you say you close the door without even accessing your memory banks to figure out what it was. You say no a lot. That shuts the door on the universe. It's a slam. It slams the door on the universe. When you're open to everything but not attached to anything, everything is possible. By not, if someone says something that's really crazy, I don't know, wait a minute, let me run through this, see if there's any way I can maybe, if I can't, I'll write it down and come back to it later and try and figure out what it was about. But saying no shuts the door to the universe. So you don't want to shut the door to the universe. Contentious people who are always being revved up by stuff they see on television. Number one, they can't do anything about it. Number two, if you did, you're on. Okay. So hate fuels hate. Hate fuels hate, which is why we have so much of that going on now. It's the nature of the world right now. But I find the world sort of balances itself out one way or another. Good usually wins over evil. Sometimes evil wins. That's the nature of the universe. And you can't do anything about it. So try not to ruin your life by becoming involved in other people's problems to the point that you begin to point fingers and hate and make comments that you don't know what's going on. You have no idea what's going on there. But you feel free to make a stupid comment. Keep it to yourself. Don't watch the news. Don't involve yourself in online debates about things that can't be resolved or you can't do anything about. Well, what about these Haitians, and what about the Afghanis, and what about? Yeah, that's terrible. What am I going to do about it? And I understand it's made worse because the people we have hired to do these things aren't doing them. Why? Because they're consumed with hate for each other. They're being contentious. And a lot of them don't even believe what they're saying. They're just saying it. This is our stance. This is our party stance, so I'm going to stand with everybody. Why? Because he fears being ostracized. You don't get money to run your campaign from the national convention if you go against what they say. That's just it. You can't possibly win without the backing of your party. So they go along with the lies, which makes it doubly stupid. It was stupid to begin with, and like COVID doesn't exist. The vaccines don't work. People are dying from the vaccine. They know it's a lie, but they continue to spread it because their national party line is that. And they want you to believe it because that gives them a lot of power. False narrative is a good way to control things. By spreading lies, you can actually get control of a lot of things. Thank goodness most people in this country just aren't that stupid. They don't buy the lies. Who buys the lies? I'll leave you for you to answer that. Be open to everything and not attached to any particular thing. I can give you an example of that. If I state a particular religious belief, then how am I going to help a guy who has a different belief? Is it important in what I do? No, it's not important at all. If I don't have a belief, I can access the other side much clearer, much cleaner, get clear answers back, which I can then tell someone, give advice to someone about what's coming next and what to do. If I have a staunch belief in something, it's hard to see the other side. So by having a rigid belief system, you really can't help anybody. So I have an open mind. I'm open to just about everything. The crazy stuff I hear all day long is a lot of fun and very interesting. But I don't say no. I say, wait a minute, let me think about that. By not shutting the door, I learn a lot more and I'm able to help more people by not having a particular opinion about anything. As you see the world, so will you become. Don't be contentious. The world's a beautiful place. It's all in how you see it. Oh, it's terrible and cold out here. Oof, let's go back inside. I don't know. The sky's clear. It's cold and windy, but what a beautiful day it is. And it's one day closer to spring. So try not to have an opinion that closes doors, metaphysical doors, doors to the other side, which are really how you're running your life anyway. Believe it or not, most of your ideas are not your ideas. They're coming from someone else. You pick up on it. But when you listen to somebody else's lies that they made up, that aren't real, you involve yourself in a controversy that you can't do anything about. You can't win it. What about that mountain climber that climbed that big mountain and fell off in a big crevasse and died and froze up, and 40 years later they dug his body up and there he was? Yeah, I feel sorry for the guy. Do I want to know about it? Nothing I can do about it. Now, I can't do anything about climate change, although there's a whole group of people that say it doesn't exist. The world is flat. No. The world's flat. It doesn't. At one time, people thought that all the planets revolved around the Earth. They thought they were so important that all the planets surely revolved around them. It's just not true, but they believed it. Anybody that went against that could be thrown in jail or guillotined or. Try not to have a fixed belief system. Black and white are completely different things. They're not the same. I see the world mostly as gray. I don't see it as black or white. It's just sort of gray. That if you're in a boat and you're going down a river, does it matter that you went this way, down that little tributary, or you went that way? Yeah, it does. Deciding which way to go is the key to your life. How do you get that information? The other side. If you want to say no to everything, you don't get the information. You end up nowhere. It's the same people always end up nowhere. They're not losers. Well, their decision-making process is flawed. They're not listening to the other side. Their opinion, their conscious mind opinion, is the one that matters to them. And the subconscious mind is where I do everything. I'm not capable of doing much in the conscious mind. I can barely get the keys out of my pocket to start the car. Enough of that. No fear, no regret, no anger. Thank you for watching.